Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Liz. Thank you for stopping by. I am so excited about this deck, you guys. Listen, I got a few decks on magic.com. I was looking through because they have different ones. They have a lot, but sometimes I'll just go through and see what they have because if I don't do that, I'll never find new things. And this popped up and I'm like, oh, that's an interesting deck. I happened to find it on Amazon. I looked at the reviews because one thing about Magic, although their prices are really good, they do not have a lot of reviews, or any that I can remember. They might, but it wouldn't be many. It has excellent reviews. It's very true to the Norse mythology. It's a great way to learn about it. The deck is called Yggdrasil, Norse Divination cards. And Yggdrasil is the world tree, I believe, because I know a little bit about it. But in order to connect to something like that, it's so old, so deep. There are so many facets to it. I felt, or I've been feeling for a long time, that I needed something that would be a little easier for my brain to understand. And this looks excellent. They are black and white drawings, which look really cool, and it is put out by Llewellyn. It is by Haukur, Halldorson, with G. Hauksdottir. I am going to murder the words and the names because it is a different language, and although I try to pronounce it, I know some of them I'm pronouncing okay, others not so much. It just looks so cool. I'm so excited about this one. It's 81 cards with a 216-page guidebook. Discover your destiny in the Yggdrasil. Based on the powerful mythology of the Norse, this 81-card divination deck brings the wisdom of the ancients into your life. Intricate pen and ink drawings are soulful representation of the Eddas, the stunning written accounts of the legends of old. These cards, along with the informative guidebook, are designed to be used for divination, guidance, and spiritual connection. Created by a renowned artist and longtime participant of the Heathen Revival, this kit is a wonderful addition to those who desire to work more deeply with the Nordic pantheon, which I do. Hold on, I just got to turn on my light here. Let's see if it'll give us a little bit more light. I definitely desire that, and just, if nothing else, to learn about it because it's so interesting and it's just so cool. I cannot wait to share this with you. It's a beautiful deck. It says here it was $31. That's not how much I paid. I don't not know how much I paid, but I know it was nowhere near that. With the discount and the regular price, it's cheaper. It says what, $31.99, I think it says, so $32. I know it wasn't that. This was, I think, one of the ones I spent a little bit more money on because I was just so intrigued by it. So it's got a really cool book. I think the cards are pretty large too in this, but it's got a really cool book, and it's got a magnetic flap. Look at this. It's so neat. I love this. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, the cards are a little larger, so they're like typical, or a little bit bigger than your typical oracle deck. And this is the book. It's got so much information in here. Each card is represented, and it talks about it, introduction to the cards, using the cards, how to say certain words. I kind of need that. It just, oh my god, it looks so awesome. Like, here's Frigg, and it gives you keywords to go with it as well, which I love. I love this. So I'm going to read the back real quick. Divination and the 9 worlds of Nordic lore. The ancient poems and stanzas of the Eddas tell multi-layered and often contradictory stories. The tangled worldview that emerges, a grand tapestry of values, adventures, and ingenuity, provide much wisdom and insight to those who can find an entry point into the wealth of deities, worlds, and events. This book is your guide to navigating the interconnected narratives, helping you work with the cards to relate the natural logic and powerful spirit of the nine worlds to the events of your own life. In the Eddas, the gods are fallible, but still they resonate a paradoxical and perfect wisdom. Through this deck, you will come to find your part in the dynamic sagas that unfold and emerge from the great ash tree of the Yggdrasil. Oh, I'm already in love with this deck. I'm already in love with it. Okay, it does have plastic around it. I'm not in love with that, but it is what it is. That's the back. Look at that. Oh, love it. I love that it's in black and white. I really do. I don't have any black and white decks, so I definitely love that. Don't mind my my little knife here. This was my husband's, probably from his shop, and it looks like it's got some gunk on it. But whatever it is, it's dried. It's glue or something. God only knows. It's always into something. But it works great for this, especially when I can't find my little scissors. I don't know what the heck I did with it. I wish they would not wrap these in plastic. You know, I'm going to say it every time because I think it's not great for the environment, and honestly, it's just a waste. It's kind of a pain in the ass to get off. All right. Here we go. Hold on. And it's also sticking in my hands. But the cards themselves, they're Llewellyn. These are they're a teeny bit flimsy, I want to say. So you're gonna have to be careful with them, but they are shiny, and they have like a nice coating on them. You know, they're good size. It's 81 cards. I would say that the typical thinness or whatever of the, what do you call it, tarot decks. Okay, so let's start. I love Odin. I love Odin. One of my very, very favorites. The All-Father, I think he's called. So Odin, omniscient, wisdom, poetry, language. Frigg, his ever-suffering wife. Foresight, wisdom, intuition. She's also mother goddess. I think Freya is a mother goddess as well. Yeah, here we go. Love, fertility, sexuality. Look at these drawings. Oh my God, they're gorgeous. They're beautiful. Beautiful. I love the cat there. Sif, earth, fertility, and family. So there's a couple of different ones. So these three I would connect with family as well. These women. So it's almost like the three goddesses, mother, maiden, crone, I'm thinking. This is kind of cool. This character I haven't run across in my reading of with the Norse, the Norse gods, but I'm looking forward to reading about her. So maybe I'll hold her back. She's kind of cool. Baldur. Now they are not numbered. So how are we going to, because they go from like N. Oh, hold on a second. I want to just check that out. How are we going to find, let's see if there's a index in the front here. And here's it's called verse 18, the Vulpsa, the prophecy of the Edda. So there's a verse 18 here. So that's something we can read, which is kind of cool. I'm just trying to see if there is a glossary of the cards, because how are we going to find them if there isn't? That might be where I find fault with these cards, is they're not numbered and they're not in alphabetical order. So, is there a glossary? Am I missing it? Hold on a second here. Well, alrighty then. I may have to actually read the book. Is there a glossary in the back? Let me check. Because that might make it really, 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 really hard to find the cards. And they are not numbered, right? I'm not missing it. Okay. So that's the only thing that's going to be tricky to find the cards. Is, from what I could see, there's no glossary. I may be missing it, but I don't think so. There is no glossary in order to find, or index, whatever you call it, that I can find. So that's going to be really, and there's different worlds. These are the different worlds. These cards are based on the 9 worlds. Oh, that's going to be tricky. Okay. I may have to number these. I don't know how else you're going to find them. I mean, that's right there is the one thing. I mean, you don't really need it to use the cards because they do have keywords. But if you want to read further in, it's going to be a little tricky. So that's the only thing, which is honestly, it's kind of a big thing. So that's my critical nature right there. So Balder, forgiveness, mildness, kindness. Njord, economy and revenue. He's kind of cool. Bragi, poetry, language, expression. Nana, steadfastness and loyalty. Gersemi and Hinos, treasure, beauty, design. So this looks like, I don't know if they're sisters, they're reflection of each other. That's kind of cool. Ooh, Thor, strength, fertility, protection. I like Thor too. Tyr, conflict, counsel, and justice. And Tyr was also very protective, very protective. Aegir, hospitality, abundance, currents. Ran, intuition, subconscious, currents. So they both have currents. They both have water. The artwork is really, really beautiful. I do like that they're in black and white. Ymir, creativity, novelty, artistic struggle. I hope you guys can see it well. In my view, from what I'm seeing glare, but I'm seeing the glare on the phone from the light that's hitting the phone. So Mimir, omniscient, advisor, counsel. Scrimmer, deception, undermining of confidence. So I wonder if he'd be like a Loki type character. I'm sure Loki's in here. I'm sure. Thajasi, aging, maturing, healing. Skirner, messenger, diplomat. Urdarbrum, decision, performance, impact. This looks like the three fates sort of in there, but they look like they're kind of locked up. Like I have like a weird vibe with that. It's like a tomb quality to it. Verdandi, the future. She has more of a Pythia look to her, but she's like the fates, because if you see it, she's got like a thread kind of running there. I'll bring it up a little closer. All right, so these must be the three fates. Hold on one second. Am I because there's Urd, which is the present. I thought Urd was also destiny. From what because this one has also the same kind of thread there. I thought Urd was, see, the fates. Well, I'll have to read up on it. Very interesting. Frey, spring, and new beginnings. Alfred, feminine intellect. Saul, ambition and drive. Beautiful. Vali, reconciliation. Gerd, artfulness. How beautiful, huh? So pretty. Fula, keeper of secrets. Fornjot, temperance. Nerthus, peace and counsel. Nifl, darkness and fog, like Niflheim. Niflheim would be a darkness, like a foggy area, like another world. Grimner, balance of contraries. This is so interesting. So interesting. Hiroken, judgment and final decision. Ear, healing and medicine. Scotty, ambition, the hunt. I love that. Love that she's riding a bear. It looks like a polar bear, but it's probably just a brown bear, but awesome. Love it. Hrasulj, reflection. Frosty, mindfulness, lightness, impermanence. So that has the Green Man vibe to me, or the Horned God, definitely. Heimdall, gateway, opportunity, warning. And this has the, are they runes? I think that would be kind of like runes on there. Ask, the first human man. Oh, look at this. And Embla, the first human woman. I love it. Beautiful. So cool. Gif June, claiming new ground. Forseti, fairness and judgment. Sigyn, loyalty. I love her too. She's very cool looking. Dag, clarity and novelty. Hillen, reassurance and protection. Jarl and Arna, ambition and collaboration. So they look almost like father and son, or it's not a male and a female, I don't think. I think it looks more like a father and a son there. Amrun, the known unknown. Dari, conflict behind the mask. Oh, same thing. Darud, suspense behind the mask. Interesting. Very interesting. Let's see. I'll hold these back and we'll see what I can read. I mean, the book looks pretty detailed. I know I'm not going to read that many. Speaking of which, Mani, unresolved emotions. Goy, transformation. Mock, bravery, lifting the nightmare. And there's a slain dragon, which is kind of sad. I really love dragons. I don't know why they have to kill them. Sen, opportunity. Gina, messenger of the gods. Beautiful. The rule of three, informed decision. These are just such interesting cards. Durin, the doorkeeper, navigation. Scold, the past. So this would be the other part of those, the cards that I saw, because it also looks like there's a thread there. So I'm thinking the three fates. I don't even know if the three fates are part of Norse mythology, or if it's a Greek or a Roman thing, or all three. I really don't know. Yule, ambition and competitiveness. Idun, magical youth and rejuvenation. Gandalf, wisdom. Huh. Isn't that from the Ring trilogy book? What the heck is that book? Oh, I can't remember now. Of course I can't remember. You guys will remember what I'm talking about. With my precious. Anyway, Brock, master craftsmanship and diligence. And the reason I don't remember is because I don't particularly like that book. So, Del-ing, beauty and vanity. Urpa, diligence and resourcefulness. He's plucking that duck. Poor little duck. Ekinskoljd, guarding the treasure. Muspel, Lord of Mists. Surt, the fiery wrath. So this looks like an underworld. So this must be the part of the underworld, because there's, like I said, there's 9 worlds. And if there's 81, is that 9 times 9? I don't even know. I'm terrible at math. I'm assuming it's like 9-ish cards. Sinmara, nightmare. Did I read that one? Surt to fire. Yeah, I did. I'm near the spirit of fire. Beautiful. Here's Loki. Loki, the cunning god of many faces. I kind of like Loki. because my daughter has a dog named Loki, and, you know, can't not love him. Quasir, the crafty mead of poetry. Naglfar, the ship of conflict. Rita, the spirit of lightning. Vidar, berserker, the warrior. Hel, ruler of fears. Ooh, she's very cool looking. And this is where I believe Christianity kind of gets its idea of hell from the story of her. She's like the goddess of the dead and the word. Maybe it's the word, which is pretty cool. What on earth is this? Gang lot, sluggishness and procreation. So this looks like somebody with an actual third head. It kind of looks like it looks like a man with female, like it looks like a pregnant woman. All right, so hold on a second. Let's see. Looks like a pregnant woman with very large feet and a tail with a man's head. Different. Here's another goofy looking one. Ganglati, tardiness and lethargy. So it's very similar. This one's sluggishness and procrastination, tardiness and lethargy. So this one actually has the female sort of, and this one is the male right there. So they go together. Helrigen, disorder. Modgud, the guardian of Jalarbru. Jalarbru, crossing between life and death. There's your bridge. In some stories, different depending on the culture, you have to go through like a waterway. So cool. Not, perpetual desire. Hermod, the brave traveler. Ermin, reconciliation of opposites. So cool. All right. Let's see. It's a large deck. Large from my hands anyway. The cards are not as sturdy as I would hope them to be, so you have to be careful with this deck. You know, it's not... Llewellyn, their decks are kind of, you know, all over the place. Like where US games generally, this would be, these are very thin, but they would feel more like they have like a plastic coating. These are different. So they are delicate. They are definitely delicate. I'm not going to beat them up, so I will be fine. But someone else, I can see that. I mean, if you're going to pay $32 for the deck, you're going to have to be careful. Okay, so let's see. Let's look at this Sif. And the thing is with... It's going to be hard to find. Okay, so you have chapter 1, which is the world of the gods. And which is the Asgard. Here it tells you the Icelandic, the Yggdrasil location, northeast, center on top, card position, the seeker's main aspiration, the question for the cards, creative expression and renewal. The Asgard is home to the gods known as the Aesir and their stronghold. And then there's all these different words here that are hard to pronounce. So this is where the Asgard are, which is the world of God. This is where, yeah, the Aesir. I get the Asgard and the Aesir. I know Asgard is a place. The Aesir is the people or the gods. So it goes by the worlds. Unfortunately, if you don't know the story, which I only know a very small amount, it's going to be hard to find the cards. It's going to be very hard. I would say read. For me, I'm going to read this book because it looks so interesting. So let's do Sif here. Earth fertility family. Sif is a major goddess of the Asgard. She can be seen as a personification of the fertile farmland as her husband can. Oh, she can be seen as a personification of the farmed land as her husband can. She is the wife of Dor or Idor, god of thunder. Is that Thor? I think that's Thor, but it's god of thunder, life, and fertility. her name means family. I think I do remember her now. Her name means family, and she is thusly associated with family and marriage. She has one son named Uller from a previous relationship with Nordjdur, father of Freya. She is famed for extreme beauty and grace. There is a story about Loki cutting off Sif's beautiful hair off in malice. I remember this story. And Thor wanting to kill him in a vengeful rage. Loki makes amends by having new golden hair made for her by the incredible crafts of dwarfs Broker and Sindri. Her hair is associated with the fertility of the earth, with golden fields of corn and plants. Her presence in the spread represents a good and strong family bond and a happy and prosperous family life. If she is accompanied by her husband Thor, the prospect of fertility is greatly enforced. Okay, I love that. I love that it talks about the goddess, her life, her family real quick, and then it tells you what the card can mean, especially if it's accompanied by another card. I really like this a lot. I just wish there was numbers on these cards. These are going to be really, really hard to find. Let's see. And I'm going to show you how hard to find they are right now, because I don't remember where these guys were. But let's go to Dari and Darad. They should be close to each other because they were right next to each other. Let's see. Dari and Darad. If there is a way to find these cards other than where I'm looking, it's going to be hard for somebody's going to have to tell me, because it's going to be hard for me to find. So I wonder if it's in Midgard, world of the humans. That doesn't, well, let's see. Midgard is the world of the humans, which that wouldn't be it. What world are you guys in? The Durgheim, world of the dwarf, maybe world of the dwarfs? Let's see. World of the dwarfs. They don't look like dwarfs. None of them. Maybe this guy. Not even then. Okay, nope. And world of the dark elves. The Svartalfheim. Ah, here we go. World of the Dark Elves. Okie dokie. Oh, it's a shame that they don't have numbers. All right, so we'll do conflict behind the mask. Dari. Dari is a king in the world of the Dark Elves. If his allegiance is called upon, he will stay with the Seeker and become part of them. Dari manifests as the mask of past and present conflicts, worn in a variety of ways. One meaning of the name Dari is spear. And the card can indicate the influence of spears pointed at the Seeker, creating a high-pressure siege-like situation for the question or situation of the Seeker, either currently or in the recent past. His presence is an indicator that the Seeker might be stuck in a situation that has passed, still feeling as if under siege and wearing the defense mechanisms that served well when in a high-pressure situation, like a mask or armor. The card might indicate that the situation has passed and it's time to allow the mind to follow. Dari serves as armor and can be useful in a situation of conflict, but he is also not easy to shed. Dari and Darad have the same attributes, and if they showed up together in the spread, it means that there is a real need for armor. It indicates a mounting conflict, but the Seeker is advised to be aware not to be stuck in a situation of conflict. If they show up on their own, they might rather indicate a past conflict and remind the Seeker that it's time to let go of the old armor. Okay, so from the cards, this one says conflict behind the mask. This one says suspense behind the mask. I wouldn't necessarily get what's written here, so I definitely would have to read it. I don't know if I'm going to use this anyway as an oracle deck. I think I'm going to use this more as a way to learn more about this pantheon because I'm so interested in it. So it's not a huge deal, and I might actually keep them in order and read them as I go. Because I think it's going to be just really interesting. And then maybe when I get a little bit more familiar with it, I might use them that way. Not 100% sure. I do really like this deck because I think for me, it's going to be a good way for me to learn this particular myth, pantheon, gods, goddesses. All right, let's see. Skadi. I love Skadi. I believe she's like a winter goddess, I'm going to say. And then I'm going to look up Hell, because Hell is an interesting one too. Let's see where Scotty's at. I so wish there was a glossary. Oh my goodness. Let's see. What world is Scotty in? And these are the different worlds. Order of placement. Let's see. Asgard. I don't think... Would she be in the Asgard? She might be. She might be in the... Maybe not. She might be in the next one. Let's see. Baldur, Nord, Bragi, Nana. See, guys, it makes it really hard. But I guess you gotta know. To me, it doesn't take away from Jotunheim, the world of giants. I thought Thor, though, was part of the Aesir, because I believe he is the son of Odin. I'm pretty sure, at least in the books I've read. All right, let's see. Scotty. Okay, the world of the elves. I do not think she'll be in the world of the elves. The world of I think she might be in the world of ice, because I believe she is an elf, an ice goddess. And you know what? Although this sort of looks like trees in the summer, but actually I think they're trees covered in ice. And this might be a polar bear. She's actually on ice, because I don't see any grass. I mean, you could look at it both ways. Sorry, I just had to sneeze. I did pause it, so you guys didn't have to listen to that. Ambition, the hunt. And it's funny, because if it is ice, she is wearing like next to nothing. That's kind of interesting. Okay, Scotty. Ambition, the hunt. Scotty is the goddess of the hunt and daughter of Pasi, or it could be Tasi, Jasi, the giant and trickster who managed to even trick Loki himself. Scotty is a prolific skier. Her great loves are the mountain snow and hunting. She was married to Njord after the war between the Asgard and Afolmir, and it is sometimes said to be the mother to Freya and Freyr. The union of Nord and Skadi is said to have been an unhappy one, as Skadi preferred the mountains to the seaside. She later married Uller, the ice giant, and lived happily with him in the mountains. Skadi is also thought to be the goddess of Scandinavia, which might draw its name from her. Well, that makes sense. One version of her name is Skanda. Skadi can be called upon Scotty can be called upon for resolve and resourcefulness. She represents goal-oriented determination in the spread and strong willingness for the seeker. See, I don't get that from, well, I guess ambition. I guess that would work. If either Uller or Freyr accompanies her in the spread, those qualities are reinforced. If Freya accompanies her mother in the spread, she adds a touch of sex appeal and magic to the mix. Njord brings monetary aid to her influence, but might bring a feeling of confinement along. If the seeker is starting an endeavor in a competitive environment or a competition of any sort, Scotty is a good reinforcement to call upon. Okay, so it gives a lot of information about the god, like what it could mean. With just ambition and the hunt, you get a little tiny bit of that. I think this is one of those decks to be used well. You really have to get into it and use it a lot to understand it, and it will become one of those go-to decks for someone, because there's a lot here. It's very deep, so it's not a bad thing. It's very, very deep. And let's see, we already did Darad and Dari, Sif, Odin, Treasure, Beauty, Design. This one is really interesting. Let's just go right to the beginning and do Odin, because I do love Odin. Let's see how that is portrayed in this book. I know a little bit about Odin. Okay. So each section has a description of that particular world. Like this would be the Asgard world. And Woden, yeah. Well, a Woden is a way of saying Odin. It's like a Nordic way, I believe. So, Odin, omniscient, wisdom, poetry, and language. Odin is the most powerful of the Aesir. He is the all-seeing and can shapeshift and take most any form. Odin is one of the first gods created out of Ymir's armpit. Okie dokie. He is a force of omniscience, transformation, and wisdom for the seeker. Odin, like many gods, holds animals in his service. The two wolves, Jerry and Freki, and the ravens, Hugin and Munin. He rides the flying eight-legged steed, Sleipnir, across the sky to Yggdrasil. Odin has treasures like Gungnir, his spear of courage with runic inscriptions, and Draupnir, the regenerating magical ring. For the seeker, Odin's presence in the spread means advantage from all levels of life, from nature herself. His ravens are his eyes and ears, and his wolves are his force of implementation. His eight-legged steed is his passage between the worlds. He is one of the few beings that moves freely around the tree of life. He enjoys the advice of Mimir from Jotunheimr, to whom he offered his eye, leaving him famously one-eyed. Having Odin in the place of Asgard is the strongest possible position for the spread. Whatever the seeker wants to achieve, his great prospects with Odin placed in the realm of Asgard. Odin is a major god and god of nobility for the seeker. His influence will always indicate that the seeker has the ability to look at a situation from all angles and have an overview from a power position. Odin works for the seeker, and very few cards can weaken his influence. If Mimir accompanies him in the spread, the seeker will have strong guidance and advice. Odin has many names, manifestations, and children, most notably two sons who live in Asgard. Thor, I think Thor, the god of thunder, because it's weird. If you look, there's this weird letter there. But it's Thor, the god of thunder, and Baldur, the white one, the favorite of Asgard and loved in most all the worlds. If any member of his family shows up in the spread close to Odin, it is an even more positive reinforcement of his influence. The card comes with healing, wisdom, poetry, and the command of language and the runic alphabet. It comes with magical support. One could say supernatural support. Particularly if Freya is in the spread, because she is the one who teaches magic to Odin. The only card that can potentially weaken Odin's influence in the spread is the card of Muspel, the leader of the enemy army during Ragnarok, depending on the placement in the spread and the cards around him. Love it. There's just so much information, and of course, with the spread. Now, I'm just going to wonder, what spread are they talking about here? If there is there a spread? Let's see. I mean, this deck hasn't been around too long. It's been around since 2021. Using the cards. Okay, the cards at Yggdrasil deck don't have conventional higher and lower arena like reading cards often have, although some of the cards are more significant than others, depending on the status. The deck contains 9 sets of 9 cards each, 9 entities in each of the 9 worlds. They are numbered in the book. The ones numbered 1 to 4 can be considered more potent than the ones 5 to 9, although each card has its own worth. Please keep in mind that there are a few elements in the spread of Yggdrasil that can influence each card. So there's a spread of Yggdrasil. There might be a reason why the cards are not numbered here. I find that is a flaw for me, only because finding them is going to be very, very difficult. There's animal symbolism, importance of the circle. I'm still looking for there's the history of Nordic paganism, the elements, the importance of 9, the spread. Okay, here we go. Here's the spread right here. This is the world's tree, Yggdrasil, and this is where the spread would go. So it almost looks like the tree of life in Kabbalah. So order of the placement. So I guess, I mean, if you look here, gives you an idea, but it's not in order. So I guess you have to kind of create your own. And it tells you what order of the placement. The first one is the Asgard. The second one is Hell, the world of the dead. The third, so these are just the worlds and whatever card pops up in that. I guess you can just do your own because it is going to be a little tricky. This is going to be a tricky deck to work with. Let's look up Hell, what it says about Hell, because I'm very interested in that. And that is the second world. No, wait a minute. No, that's the spread. Okay. The second world is Jotunheim. And Hell is the world of the dead, which would be what world here? Let's see. I'm going to guess it's one of the lower worlds. I'm going to guess. See what I mean? It's really difficult. That's the world of ice. Might even be a Midgard, which is the middle world. And it has to be the last one. It has to be. The world of the Dark Elves. I don't think that's it. World of Fire, that's not it. Hell, the world of the dead. So, of course, the very last one. And it tells you where the placement is, the Yggdrasil placement. So I would have to study that a little bit more. Like I said, this is a very in-depth deck. It's very much for learning about it. Ruler of fears. Hell is the personification of the underworld and is a force to be reckoned with. She is an unyielding ruler, and once she has you in her domain, it's as good as impossible to exit again. Hel is thought to be Loki's daughter, and therefore the older sister of the steed Sleipnir. Okay, there's a comma there. The Midgard Sumur serpent and the wolf Frigr. Hel is a shapeshifter like Loki. She can be of extreme beauty or strike terror in the hearts of men. Her halls of Jr. are icy, cold, and wet. Hel has a three-legged horse called Hauksdottir that collects the dead for her and brings them to her realm. Being the personification of the place she rules, her attributes in the spread are mostly the same as her attributes of the place itself. She represents our inner fears that can hold us hostage, rob us of our willpower, and prevent us from moving forward in our undertakings. She represents the paralyzing and unreasonable inner judge we use to pass judgment on our actions and ourselves. Interesting. Very interesting. I like it. All right. I've gone 43 minutes. I've gone way too long, but this is one of those that to really do it justice, you have to get in a little bit deeper. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. It's a beautiful deck. I am definitely going to use it much more for educational purposes, I think, but I'm still loving the artwork, and I think for me, being a visual person, this is going to help me a lot. All right, you guys, have a beautiful day wherever you are. Take good care of yourselves. Blessings, and thank you.